I'm going to be the one to say this. Ever since I had my daughter, my life has been a mess. My life has been a mess. Who I chose to have her by has been nothing but a fucking menace to society. Who I decided to have her by has destroyed my fucking life into pieces. Into pieces. I don't even feel like I look the same. So many things in my life has been discombobulated and out of order. I feel like I don't look the same. I don't feel like I'm as attractive as I used to be. My love life is messed up. I feel like a lot of men aren't attracted to me for who I am. And most men don't want to even date because, I have a kid. So my value goes down because I have a kid. My finance.
A lot of these people are burdened by their children. They're burdened at having children. So as soon as all hell break loose, this economy collapse, there's no food on the shelves. The scriptures tell us a lot of these women are going to eat their children. Okay, a lot of these women are going to leave their children or eat their children. We was talking about that at camp this past week, man. All right, and all you women out there that made these bad decisions to have children with these unfit fathers, okay, you made that choice. All right, so you cannot blame anybody but yourself. But the end up doesn't want to take accountability. So she's explaining how horrible her life has been since having a kid.
Are all over the place, even though I make good money, but my finances are fucked. I have to pay more for the cost of living because I have a +1. My education is also interfered with other things.
Scripture says if they do all these things in the green tree, how much more in the dry? If people are complaining like this about, their own children, okay, have this type of feelings toward their own children, and while, society is still functioning, imagine when society is no more functioning. What happens when this society breaks down and it's everybody for themselves?
I'm tired of being on this fucking earth, God. I'm tired. I'm tired of fucking living like this. And I'm only getting older. I'm not getting any younger. I'm alone by myself. I take care of everything alone. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Nothing is the same. Nothing is the same. I
She
have
talking
to
about
fight through the system.
she on TikTok talking about how her finances is all over the place. Well, that eyelash is all over the place. All right, that eyelash is all over the place, man. But shows you the priorities of these women are all out of tact. All right.
Legally for my daughter and my rights. I have to continuously go back and forth with this sperm donor of my child because he wants control and wants to get away with all of the dirt that him and his attorney's doing, and I'm not getting justice. I haven't received justice yet.
She's fighting with the father of her child over his seed.
Me as a single parent paying bills alone, trying to keep myself positive, being alone, having no support, no family, no love. It's overwhelming. I see why people take themselves out. I see why this society, this
She
account.
got weave. She got her hair done. She got the eyelashes, the nails. The priorities just ain't right, man. A lot of you women, you put yourselves in these situations and you expect a pity party, and you're not going to get it. And as things get worse here in this country, all right, we're done hearing her cry. As things get worse here in this country, it's going to show that you women were all out of order to begin with, man. All right, you need a man. All right, you can't just be out here trying to do it on your own or going to war with your own man, okay, in this system and think that it's going to be okay. Eventually, you're going to exhaust yourself, and it's not going to pay off. So let's grab a few precepts. All right, I want to open up with this right here, and going into the curses. All right, let's start at verse. Let's start at verse Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 52. It says, "And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trusted that throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee and all thy gates throughout all thy land." Meaning we were going to be, pretty much in prison in our own land. That's what it means to be besieged, when another military comes and entrench you into your own land, where you can't come out and nothing can go in, nothing can go in, nothing can come out. Meaning all the food that's in that area after a period of time will be all eaten, and eventually the people will begin to starve. It says, "Which the Lord Yahawah thy power hath given thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body." This is a curse that fell upon us in 70 AD, and it's going to happen again in these last days. It says, "The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahawah thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straightness," the path of difficulty, when it gets very, very bad out here, "wherein thine enemies shall distress thee." Bring this back. Okay. It says in the AMP, okay, the Amplified version, it says, "Then you will eat the offspring of your own body to avoid starvation." People are going to be eating their own children to avoid starvation. And the attitude that she had in that video, when the brothers, one of the brothers put that in the chat, and that's the first thing I said. I seen it in her spirit. When all hell breaks loose, she gonna eat her own child. She gonna eat her daughter, okay, because she's putting all the blame on the daughter. It says, "The flesh of your sons and daughters, whom the Lord your power has given you during the siege and the misery by which your enemy will oppress you. The man who is most refined and well bred among you will be cruel and hostile toward his brother, and toward the wife he cherishes, and toward the rest of his children who remains." A lot of men are going to leave their families, man, okay, to save themselves. Jumping over here in the KJV again. "So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in straitness, wherein thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates, in all thy gates." Here's the point. It says, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom." Okay, yeah, they call, the baby daddy. They don't want nothing to do with the baby daddy. She called him a sperm donor. She had an evil eye towards her child's father, right? "Toward her son and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children." So she has an evil eye towards her own children, "which she shall bear, and she shall eat them for the want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherein thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates." You see? So that's what's coming, all right? That is absolutely what's coming, man. And that's why we tell you, Jakes, to repent, to get right, because it's going to get very bad out here. So you see a lot of our people, they're complaining about how bad it is now. Imagine when it gets worse. A lot of these Jakes are going to eat their own children. All right, let's go to this account right here. Yep. Second Kings. This is Second Kings chapter 6 and verse 25. It says, "And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver." Meaning people was actually buying a donkey's head, which has really no meat on it, and they were buying, and it's unclean, and they're also buying um bird crap. Okay, people was collecting bird crap and selling it. That's how bad it was, man. Okay, and the king, verse 28, and the king said unto her, no, let me go back up. It says verse 26, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord Yahweh do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? How can I help you? Salakia. He said, out of the barn floor, or out of the wine press? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. This is a time that this is a horrific time that our people had to suffer through. Okay? And this woman is telling the king a situation where she basically felt robbed of another woman hiding her child so that they can't eat her child after they just ate her child. Okay? It says, so we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Meaning, hey, he was sorely vexed and tripping on what he just heard. You mean to tell me y'all not are eating your children? This is what Jacob's going to result to as things get worse here in this country, as things get worse here in America. So I just thought that was interesting, because when that woman said that, that's immediately what I thought. And we had the eyes that see, okay, the spiritual eyesight. We can see a lot of these women out here are going to be eating their children, man. Okay, selling their children. Okay, let's grab another one. Okay, impart wisdom. Okay, because nobody told you to open your legs up to and the guy probably ain't so fucking bad, honestly. All right, if he going to court with you for custody for a child that he wants to be in their life and you're not allowing him to, then you're the fucking problem. Okay, and that's why your life is suffering, because you're not going according to the way the Lord set up for you. These women want to be independent. Now they glorify being single mothers. A bitch would be getting help from the father instead of talking about she a single mother. This is why the Lord going to leave a lot of you women here to die. You ain't right. America has destroyed you mentally, spiritually and physically. So what's going to have to happen? You're going to have to be purged. It says, Job chapter 39 and verse 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in dust? And you see many videos of women when they're in a situation, they got kids with them. Something happens, the first thing they do is scream and run, and they'll leave the child. Okay? And forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. It was a video recently that came out of a woman. She had her child with her, and a shootout sprung out, and basically she left the child in the midst of the gunfire and ran for her own safety. Okay? She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. And this is something that you women need to understand. If you are having children, you need to go and stick with the man that you have those children by, because that's going to be your protection. That's going to be your hedge. If the guy's a complete loser, hey, you made your bed, not you made that bed. Now you got to lay in it, okay? But you shouldn't be trying to go find another man if you got children with one man, and you trying to find another man to have children with, and leave that man and go have to. Now you got all these kids with all these different daddies, and you don't, you have a disdain for all of them, okay? And they're on, and those kids' his father. All right, that's off, bro. All right. So when that woman was expressing herself like that, we can see, we understand what that means through the spirit. All right. A lot of these women are going to eat their children. That's the point I want to make with this lesson. Lord, when it's edifying to the elect, double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful scattered abroad. Shalom.